And I am simultaneously checking my phone. I think here we go. I am simultaneously checking. Hi! Sorry I'm late, guys. Ironically, and please give me a like. Let me know who is here. Thanks for waiting a few minutes for me. Ironically, I had to take care of cat stuff and dog stuff. So, cats and dogs. So it took me a few extra minutes, and then all the things were off and disconnected on my computer, and I just used it like an hour ago. So I'm not sure what all that was about. And my dogs are here, but the cats are outside, so it should be pretty good in here with the animals. And that's what we're going to get into is the animals and how they've been a bit extra lately. So again, let me know if you're here. Who's here? Check in. Okay, just making sure. I am on everywhere. We're going to start getting into the interesting thing that's going on with animals and has been for well, a hot minute, a little bit. Nicole, hi. Welcome. And Laura is here. Hello. Hey guys. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Tell me how you are. Check in with me. Michelle. Sandra and Michelle. Hello. Hi, guys. So we have Laura, Nicole, Sandra, Michelle. Who else is here? Please check in. And go ahead and chime in right here from the start. If you, first off, I'm assuming everybody here, well, I know everybody in the chat so far who has said hello has animals. Why don't we keep it simple for now and just chime in the chat if you've noticed extra when it comes to your animals lately. Ileana, is that you? Hey, sweetheart. Hey, hello. I was thinking about you today. Glad you're here. Hey, everybody. So chime in the chat if you have animals and if they've been extra lately. Whatever the extra is. So if they've been extra sleepy or extra needy or extra whiny or extra excitable or energetic or whatever, extra playful, whatever that it is, extra strange, extra aware, if you've noticed that, whatever they've been extra, please chime in. It's my dog Chompers, and he's been extra fill in the blank, whatever that you've been noticing. What kind of animal is it? What's its name and what it's been doing extra vocal, extra whiny, extra reactive, stimulated. What are the extras that you've been knowing? Please chime in the chat. What animals? So if it's your dog that's been extra excitable, but your cat's been extra vocal, or extra, just sensitive, whatever. Share in the chat what you've been experiencing with your animals. I'm assuming you're here for a reason, not only because you love me and you love my lives, but maybe that you've been experiencing this for yourself. I am really curious as to what you've been experiencing. Nicole Abney says, hey there, love. Definitely extra. Cat extra needy. Cat has been extra needy. So I interpret needy as just wanting more of your attention, wanting more affection, wanting more of your security, just one-on-one, like actually face, like not just being around, but focused on them. Laura says, as you know, mine are always extra, but this week my dog Georgia is extra mellow and sweet. Stanley is extra sassy and playful. Oh, that's interesting because it's kind of usually the opposite with them, right? Michelle says, Cynthia extra chatty, which is a cat, and Nigel extra energy walking. Oh, that's great to hear. That's wonderful. But Cynthia extra chatty, and I appreciate that. I didn't catch what her name was. We just had a meeting. We just had Michelle's monthly not too long ago, and he mentioned that his cat was just nonstop, always been very vocal, but been really extra vocal lately. Right? So anybody else? It's definitely opposite. Laura says, yeah, definitely opposite. Interesting. Let me see if I've missed anything. I thought I saw something. Yes, my in-laws' dogs have been more clingy. Okay, more clingy. Anybody else? What about you, Nicole Smith? You have lots of animals. Have they been extra? I remember like 2 months ago, you were talking about your kittens or your younger cats being extra. I'm curious if they've been extra lately and how they've been extra. My dogs, let's talk about my animals. Let's wait. Hold on a second. Ileana says his name is Chapo. That's funny. His name is Chapo, and I feel as if he has been sleeping more, but he is an older dog. Okay. But still, right? Okay, so Nicole Smith says Finn the cat irritated with our other cat, Lady J, but both are very sleepy during the day. Does that say Cullen? Our dog has been restless. Okay, so you're noticing stuff for all of them. More irritated with the other cat. Is that, I'm curious if that is typical but extra, or just not typical at all with the irritation. Both are very sleepy during the day. Cullen, our dog, has been restless. Just having a hard time settling. That's what I understand from restless. But yeah, I am curious about Finn and that irritation. Where's that irritation usually? Where's that at? And okay. Excuse me 1 second. I'll be right back. I've got to grab, my nose is running a little bit. It's the first time it's been running all day. I don't want to get sidetracked because I do have an article coming out about allergies and pollen and sun and all of this stuff that came through the other day. So stay tuned. I may do a live as well, but I am going to do an article. It's probably going to come out tomorrow. So definitely subscribe to me. And if you're a member, I think if you're a member of my website, if you set your notifications to be notified when I publish a new blog, That's the fastest way to get the information. So if you're not subscribed to my website, definitely subscribe so you get my emails. But also, if you join my website as a member and you set your notifications to do specific things that happen within my website, you'll get emails and stuff about that. Like if I publish a new offering or a new blog, or if I do a new event, or like there's all these different settings that you can do if you're a member of my site. So if you've ever signed up for any of my anything, or have had like if you have been in a group or a program, pretty sure an automatic, like it makes you become a member. I don't think if you've just like had a single service with me, so you would have to actually join as a member. But anyway, after I do publish, I do send out an email letting people know that I published an article. Sometimes I mirror them on Medium, but definitely when you do the notification thing, you will know about it as soon as possible. Okay, so anyway, back to Nicole. They're getting along great, and now he is pissy with her. Okay, they were getting along great, but now he's pissy with her. Okay, that's what I was interested. I was curious how that's been. Okay. All right. So I think that's everybody who's going to chime in about what's been going on with your animals. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. So this is something that has come up recently. I would say over the last 2-3 weeks, especially, even though this is something that I've been talking about in one-on-ones and in my private groups, the consciousness of our animals is directly tied to our consciousness and our field. First off, we have to acknowledge the fact that our animals in our lives are not random. It doesn't matter to what degree the animals are in your life, whether they're domestic, house pets, they're house pets and land animals or farm animals or wild animals that are in your field, but especially the ones that you interact with and you observe and are really, really close to you. Those are going to be the ones that are definitely going to, or the ones that you spend a lot of time with. So they could be farm animals, but if you spend a ton of time with your farm animals, then definitely would be your farm animals too. So it's about degree, proximity, and what happens and what's going on with your interaction with them as well. So the thing is that when we begin to be activated by shifting ascension light energy, that changes our perception, it changes our vibration, it changes our consciousness and our awareness and all of these things that happen with us on an individual basis. And that affects everything in our field. But also, that's just happening in the collective anyway. And especially after these last few months, with all the activations that have been happening since basically the beginning of the year, we got downloads that there was major changes happening with water, and specifically the water that's inside us as humans or animals or plants or trees or insects, anything that is alive, essentially. Anything that holds water. So anything that is alive has water as a component. And water itself has been changing ever so slightly, a little bit, for a while now. But specifically the last uh well, it really started about 6 years ago, when the abundance matrix came online, and that's the whole crystalline grid, and the crystalline affects everything. And so that started changing how water holds light, and the structure of especially fresh spring water. Fresh waters are holding light differently, and the light and the water within us. And again, everything. So from my fern to the tree outside, to the squirrel, to the butterfly, to the dog, and to my neighbor, everything is shifting in vibration because of the water. Water itself is holding more light. That means Gaia can hold more light. That's about ascension. That's about awareness and activation and consciousness, connecting with the all and the one and creation and all the things, shifting our perception, shifting the perception of everything, including even the elements and how they work and are perceived, and how they synergize with each other and with everything else that is of those same elements, which is everything alive and everything upon Gaia. So if that is the pyramid in which we're working, everything is shifting. Not just a little here, a little there, these people, not those people. Everything is to hold more light, more consciousness, more awareness, more truth about reality. So, across the board, I mean, you can't be in the soup without being in the soup, you know? So, the soup changed with more light, and everything in it changes because of that. And then we have those of us within the soup that are conscious of the soup and of the light. We're working very consciously with everything, or to whatever degree we can, on our level of consciousness. Okay, so now let's take it to that level, to the individual awakening one. So, when you are becoming more conscious, your field changes. So, if any of you have been, and I know a lot of you personally, every single one of you, most of you work with me, and any of you that may watch this later, whatever that you are doing with yourself, healing, connecting, recalibrating, reorganizing, remembering, rebirthing, your experience, your consciousness, your field gets that scent, right? So if I'm sitting here and my dog's sitting over there, and what's really pungent? All I can think of is fish, but I don't want to think about fish. All right, let's do this. I don't even have it here. Why don't I have it here? But if I had my rose spray, rose is very pungent and beautiful, and I spray my rose spray over here. There we go. That's better. Way better than fish. I'm just thinking like can of tuna. I'm like, why would I open up a can? Well, I open up cans of fish every freaking day, multiple times a day. So, because I have cats. So. Oh my god. But anyway, if I spray over here with my rose water tonic, whatever I'm always spraying, my dog over there obviously is going, it's maybe not on top of him, maybe not in his face. He has, he's completely passive and he's laying over there, but it's going to affect him too. And that's how ascension works. So, does anybody have any questions thus far? And let me check in here. Finn's ears must have been ringing because he just joined me and is listening in. Oh, hey there, Finn. That's hilarious. That was really funny. Hi, Finn. He's like, "Yep, I'm here for this," because that is so funny. Excuse me. Oh my gosh. My third eye is activating, and so now I'm sneezing. I got such a tickle. Sorry, I apologize, guys. I've literally been good all day since my new discovery. So I'll be right back. I think I need more. Oh, speaking of freaking cat food, it's like sitting right here. Oh, that is so much better. Give me a second. I'll be right there. Oh, man. All right. Sorry about that, guys. I apologize. Thank you. Thank you. Nicole Ebony says, bless you. Thank you. Eliana says, I'm wondering if cats are more tapped in than dogs, or is that a myth? Ooh, such a good question. Such a good question. Let me circle back to that. So let me just finish with this part. But let me circle back to that. So if I spray my rose over here and he smells it over there, it's the same thing as if, I'm raising my awareness through deep inner work and groups and programs and oracle and energy work and sessions and being in nature and journaling and being intentional, like all whatever the things are that you're doing. Make it so your field shifts and changes. And like I said, animals and everything and everyone is already undergoing whatever little micro shifts within their whole structure. Starting with the water. So the water has been changing and more receptive, not receptive, but more reflective, more able to like the way that I see it, the way that Gaia shows it to me is like this. If you're going from, ooh, I've got visuals. So if you're going from a structure like this, a square, to a structure like this, I don't know why this is being so weird, but if you see that, and then to a structure like this, you have more whoa, what is my problem? You have more faces, you have more places that can receive and reflect light. And essentially, that is exactly what ascension is. Oh my God, I feel so much better. My home remedy is the shit. Okay, I cannot wait for you guys to learn about it. Anyway, I'm not going to get distracted with that. It's so good. So when you're ascending, you're going from more simple to more and then more complex because your internal light structure before you go through healing and awakening and ascension and start working with energy, working with your chakras, working with crystals. This is why people that have a spiritual awakening all start doing the same things. They start eating better, they start drinking better, they start really valuing their sleep, their energy, people around them, wanting to get away from negative energy, more towards positive energy. They get more into the divine and upper worlds. I mean, it's not that there's some manual out there. Everybody's okay, what do I do? What do I get into? It's just the natural thing that people do because that's how you're guided to drop and transmute your negative energy. The dense negative energy that you've been storing, even though you've been, maybe even exercising, not eating horribly, taking vacations, whatever. As you go through your life, there's the superficial energy and then there's the deeper stuff. And that deeper stuff is the stuff that starts, the superficial stuff is easy to transmute. It's not. That's why people, they'll do certain things energetically, or they'll make kind of micro adjustments or shift their habits in certain ways, and it'll make a big difference. But only if you really, really keep up with various things. And that's more in the now energy and the superficial energy. But the energy that's the deep stuff that you've been carrying around for a while, that takes longer. That takes more work and specific attention and intention. And when you start doing that, that's when you really start to change your consciousness. Once you really start to elevate your vibration and your frequency, and things start feeling different. You start going, I'm responding and reacting differently than I would have in the past. I feel differently. I feel my processing's different. My consciousness is different, whatever. There's so many different ways. I'm perceiving things. I'm experiencing things. Things are just different, and I can see that in myself, et cetera, et cetera. You're raising your vibration because you're expelling and transmuting the heavier, denser energies that keep you lower vibrational, that keep you in a lower state of consciousness. Okay, so now you are in this upward ascension business, spiritual awakening, healing, reconnecting, remembering, all of these different things that go on. Your processes, the different layers of awareness, of ascension, of all of it is in motion. And there's several going always at the same time, especially if you are very serious and you're putting actual effort on a consistent basis. If you're up and down and in and out, that's tough. It's tougher that way because it's like, it's kind of like if you were to row, 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 and then just like stop. It's like your momentum stops. Now you're not, consciously moving forward, just kind of drifting. And you can go this way, you could go that way, you get slowed down, you get stuck on a rock, whatever. It's a different kind of thing. But in any event, what happens to those people, especially the closer a consciousness is to that center point, that person that is in that active ascension. So the people that are closest to you and the animals, the the plants, the trees that are in your yard, the plants that are in your house, the animals that live with you are the ones that you see all the time. Even if they're not your animals, that doesn't matter. You don't have to talk about ascension. You don't have to explain ascension or healing or spirituality or spiritual awakening to anybody. That's the magic of it, is that when you're going through it, now that is emitting from you. Your higher consciousness and awareness is now you're getting more complex. Now you're getting more faces to reflect energy, to reflect light specifically. And everything around you starts getting more of that energy and more of that light. So again, it's kind of like if I have my candle and then I put up a mirror, I'm going to double my light. But then I can put up 6 mirrors, and now we're really talking. Now we've got way more light, right? So that's basically what happens. And when it comes to specifically our animals, let's put them into 2 separate categories. We have animals that are extra anyway, just like we have people that are extra anyway. I would be an extra person. A lot of you guys would be extra people. These are our divine incarnate empaths who are more refractive and reflective anyway. We are more psychic. We are more divinely connected. We are more attuned to nature and to energy. We are more conscious and aware. We are extra. That's like comes with in our blueprint, extra in these various ways, and the various ways that we can become even more extra. That's a thing. So the same goes for animals. And some animals are born extra, and some animals are more normal. And some animals have the potential for extra depending on who they're around and what's going on. But when you bring these 2 things together, we have us and then we have our animals, and our animals are not an accident. We have the animals we have for a reason. And if we're extra, chances are that our animals are extra. And even if they're not the animals that we own, but if we're around them all the time, they're going to be more extra just because of proximity. So to answer your question, Ileana, she says, I am wondering if cats are more tapped in than dogs, or is that a myth? It depends on the cat or the dog. Cats kind of by hardware can perceive energy in a different way than dogs can. And here's the thing with cats and dogs. Dogs are bred, for the most part, to have some type of focus other than themselves, right? they're a working dog, a sporting dog, a lap dog, whatever. It's either you or the thing that they're bred to do. So that's their focus. That's like usually the top thing with dogs generally. But with cats, not so much. Their their primary focus is self and the environment. And then yeah, they're very they're they're very independent, but they're also social as well. They do like their people and they do like attention, and this is generally speaking, of course. But cats are a whole different thing than dogs, just basically. But like I said, depending on the animal, they depend. That's what truly depends. It depends on who they're around and all of that, and really if they were already meant to be extra. There's a lot of dogs that are extra. They're extra sensitive. They're extra, meant to be extra aware. That's part of their divine design, especially when they pair up with us. And if our divine design is meant to be extra and more aware and more sensitive and more higher consciousness, then those animals that we have with us are and will too. So it's like if Tiffany is in a boat that is working on higher consciousness and spirituality, then the animals on her boat are going to activate in that way too. But if Brittany over here is not, she's mainstream and all that stuff, doing her regular 3D fear-based matrix business, then her animals are going to be in that wavelength as well. I don't know why I keep looking at my light instead of the camera. I apologize. For some reason, I'm keep looking at this light, which is really strange. I'm not used to looking at this camera. So does that make sense to you? As far as how that works, there's not a hard and fast line. Cats, just by their hard wiring, can perceive more energetically and spiritually than dogs generally, but their focus isn't out here, and just they're not just generally scanning everything. They're not general. Their cats are just like hardwired to be out here and out here for in here, and dogs are like out, pinpointed to a thing, and that's their programming. So it's just, but that doesn't mean that it can't be the other way around as well, depending on the situation. So some animals come and they really really are very different. They come already programmed, and they link up with people that they're meant to shine their extraness with, that it's really obvious, oh, this cat is not typical. They're not, I call them, yeah, I think I usually do refer to them as, not just a cat, not just a dog, extra, whatever. I've said things like this. Not every cat I've ever had was like that. Not every dog I've ever had was like that, but more than not. And I've had experiences with animals, countless experiences with animals that even before I was really awake, that I was like, I swear I know what's going on with this animal, and that they are more than they appear to be, so to speak. So when we think about our dogs and cats and birds and farm animals or whatever being more needy, being more excitable, being more restless, being more irritable, all of these things, that's all on the board, just like it is for us when we're going through our ascension process, our spiritual awakening, our higher consciousness, and we're putting that out into our environment. plus everything else that's coming in what I call the cosmic weather that's happening through full moons and new moons and stargates and activations and eclipses and equinoxes and all of these things, especially this year, it has ramped up big time. Like my German Shepherd boy, Chacho, Macho Chacho for if we're being specific. He has been extra excitable for the most part of the last 2 months. And there's been spikes in the spike. And then every so often it's like, oh, it's just like it's a new wave of extra. And very needy, very needing my attention, much more affectionate and wanting to, like have more of, yeah, just more affection, I guess is the best way to put it. Neediness, I guess you could say. German Shepherds are already up your butt extra. They're hardwired that way. But this is taking it to a whole other level, guys. And then we have Cora. She's German Shepherd too, but she also is a little bit wolfy. And she's been way more vocal, like full on, like talking, like just telling me what. And yeah, in the last couple months more than she has in the last, like, since I got her, like almost 3 years ago. So and just now let's talk about consciousness and awareness and more psychic awareness and abilities. And if you've thought to yourself, okay, I didn't even say anything, they're reading my mind, like you may have already thought that about your animals well before the last couple months, but it could be even more now. Like you're thinking, I'm going to, take them for a WALK, or we're going to, go to the PARK, or maybe I'll give them a TREAT. And you're barely starting and they're acting up and they're doing a whole thing like just on you and what you're thinking. Also, the other thing is that they are mirroring more of your energy too. So that is something to be aware of. Like, where is your energy? Is there, or maybe not just you, the people, if you're more than one in a household, if you don't live alone, this can complicate things because they're more sensitive to energy. They're feeling your energy as an ascending person, as somebody who's spiritually awakening. But then there also could be people in the mix that are not actively ascending. It's all kind of under the hood, and that can make people very irritable. Very irritable. And so that can make their animals more irritable as well. Also, just grumpy. Like I have baby, my one cat, she's had a few days of just being extra grumpy, just even the look on her face. I should take video and picture of it because she's so adorable. But she just gets this look and it just, ever seen that? What was that Grumpy Cat? It's like not quite like Grumpy Cat, but she gets this look on her face that is just, oh my God, it's funny. I don't want to laugh at her grumpiness, but it's just like, what stick got up your butt? Like just completely grumpy, just hissing at everybody. Like nobody could get anywhere near or look at her. The other cats, it's just grumpy pants. Then Pretty Boy, he's been like in a coma for the last 3 days. I could barely like he's been sleeping a lot. Jack been totally yapping up a storm. He's never been a talker before. Just meow, 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 just talking away these last couple days. I'm like, what is happening? just one is ravenous, one doesn't want to eat. Um, just I have a lot of cats and I have 2 dogs. So there's kind of everything going on. It's a little bit different, it's a little bit extra. And then, that kind of bounces off of each other. So when you have more bodies, human or animal, that are sharing space, that are kind of reacting to each other. And that would be the other thing with Chacho. Like, over the last couple months, just, I don't want to get too far into it, but I separated my girl cats, stayed in the cat room, and I brought my boy cats out here, and I have to have a fence because, especially Chacha, well, they both get right up on the cats, and the cats don't like that. But we've been working on desensitizing for a while now, and up until a couple weeks ago, it was getting better and better. Like, Chacha wasn't, just like reacting to every single little move the cats made, and just like, even not even like when we very first even started this a couple months ago, he wasn't even like aggressively going, not aggressive, I think being like, I don't want to paint the wrong picture, like he's like jumping at the fence and like growling or barking or going crazy like that. But he wasn't even doing like what he's been doing the last couple weeks, which is like really very triggered by the cats. Like, just over the top. Like, I'm like, okay, that's an extra that wouldn't normally or wasn't there before. That's the best way I could put it. It's like, instead of getting more desensitized, he's getting more sensitive because he's just being so extra about everything. Like, everything is just is a thing with him right now, and has been. Everything is a thing, an extra thing. And yeah, it's either super high energy, or he crashes and it's hard crashing. And then Cora will just take herself and go, and she's been, if anything, yeah, she's been very energetic, wanting to play, wanting my attention, very, very vocal, extra whiny as well. And also, I've noticed definite points where she's extra tired, or she is just like, I call it pancake. We can be pancake, our animals can be pancake, and that is just when you're just like flat out, just heavy, tired, needing to close your eyes, needing to sleep, just pancake. Just flat out. She's been doing pancake a lot. I'm like, where's Cora? She's under the bed, just pancake. And I'm like, come on, let's go. And she's just like, doesn't, nothing's wrong. She's not upset. Nothing happened. She's just like, give me a good reason to move right now. Kind of thing. Oh, and hunger. So they could be extra hungry right now too. If you're noticing that your animals are extra hungry, or kind of like, no, I don't want food at all, or I want more food, or they're just being more pushy about food or treats or anything like that, unless you're talking about a real like weight problem kind of thing, just give them extra. They're extra. Their energy is extra. They need more food. They need more protein. They need more because they're processing a lot, and they process in a different way than we do. And they do their stuff for them, but they're also doing our stuff for us as well. They're helping us process, and we're mirroring they're mirroring what we're processing and dealing with too. It's like I said, if you're extra tired, if you're extra irritable, if you're whatever, or other people are in the environment, they're balancing all of these energies in a way that's very different than us, and their awareness of that. And then we have the whole consciousness shift. If they are really on assignment to help you or your family, but let's just talk in specifics and individuals here. If your animals are working on assignment as their own beingness to connect with you, to help you in various ways with your ascension, with your consciousness, with your abilities. This could be you working with energy more, or your psychic abilities with your animals. We tend to kind of practice and do things with our animals that we don't do with other people, because they're, they're animals, they're ours. We work with them, we talk to them, we interact and interface with them in a very specific way. And they are directly tied to us and our soul mission and the way that we're meant to ascend. So we can have various, not only just a dog, not only just a cat, not only just a bird situations, and they do come back. Unfortunately, our animals don't live as long as we would like them to. And if they are meant to be part of that, of our system, of our ascension, our consciousness, our healing, our experience, I'm not saying all of our animals do, but some of them do. And they do within, not immediately usually. So it's not like the very next dog you get is going to be the dog from before or whatever. I'm not saying there's no hard and fast rule to it, but they do return. I've had doves that came back as German shepherds. I've had cats that came back as cats. I've had animals that have been with me in other incarnations that are with me now. And we just keep on keeping on through our incarnations, and they keep coming back. They're more conscious and aware and in a different way than we are. And they support us. So we need to support them and understand our situation as a rising incarnate affects our animals, just like it affects our kids, just like it affects our family, our loved ones, our neighbors, our close friends. Our animals are not outside of that system that is getting affected by us. And like I said at the very beginning, this is happening globally with everything. Everything that holds and contains water that is alive is shifting in its vibration because of how water is shifting. Gaia has talked about it, and I've messaged about it multiple times about water over the last few months and how that is working with everything and everyone. And so that is happening. So we have to see this in layers and then put it all together. And then we have what we've been experiencing: extra tired, extra vocal, extra needy, one being fine, not being fine, this one being more playful, that one being more affectionate, then it flipping and flopping, and things just being, them reacting to us and just being more conscious. If you can just go like their awareness, their consciousness, their sensitivity, their whatever, the way that they're perceiving things. I'm noticing my cat, or especially my dog, just looking at things that aren't there, reacting to things in a very specific way, being more sensitive to things, maybe more protective of things. I've noticed that with Cora. Like, she's always a little Miss Bossy alpha when it comes to her bonies and her chewies and her treats, and she'll growl a little bit at him. But over this last week, she's been, guess what, extra. And it's not like he's so good about it. He doesn't even try to get near her stuff. And it's like the normal distance that he gives her not enough. He's had to double or triple the distance that he gives her when she has a bony or a chewy or whatever, because she keeps growling at him. He's like, I don't have any other way to go. I'm far enough away as I could possibly be. And I'm like, chill, dog, or I'm taking away your shit so you're not growling at him like crazy. It's just extra. Um, so yeah, chime in if any of this resonates with you about your extra animals and what is going on with them and how they're responding and reacting to you, the environment, if you're noticing all these different things. This is not something, it's only going to continue. It's only going to be more and more. So it's really important to perceive what's going on and not be like, oh, there's something wrong. Unless they're won't eat for days, they're not drinking, they're have diarrhea, or they're vomiting, this is what's happening. They can be extra tired, extra irritable, extra needy, extra sleepy, extra anxious, extra. You just extra vocal, extra whiny, extra territorial, extra whatever, extra. So give them extra. They require that, and the understanding. If we can understand what's going on in the field, we can help them. And then again, like I said, there's no accident that we have the animals that we have, that they're part of our ascension, that there is this divine orchestration. It is what it is. I mean, we're all connected and it's all one big system. And it is really important to understand what's going on. Gaia wants us to understand these things, to work with nature, with our animals in an elevated way, to not see them like most people see animals, and see our relationships, and see their one lifetime as finite. To understand that they're so much more aware and connected, and becoming more so, especially as we do as well. Let me check in here with Ileana. She says, now that I am thinking about it, Chapo has been listening less to me and being more stubborn than normal. Oh, interesting. Do you live with Chapo? Or do you just see him often? And I'm thinking what I've got coming through with this is make nice, give him some new juicy treats, something that he would really, really love. Give him some extra attention, some extra affection. Whatever that it is that he likes the most, a walk, a ride in the car, whatever, playing ball, playing fetch, playing kickball, bring him a new toy. That's another thing that anything that you can do to kind of get them focused in a different way, that is very helpful too. Their world is kind of opening up. Their consciousness in reality is opening up. And if you can fill that with your not only presence, but presence as in different treats, different toys, different balls, different parks, different things. If you can start giving them different, that's going to help use more energy. And so if whatever that it is, drop $20 and get them more toys, get them new treats. And if they're dogs, especially, take them to different places. Go do something different with them, because that's going to, just like it does for us, like a change of scenery, new things get us, it shifts the timeline. It gets things excited in a different way. You can channel your energy into the excitement of whatever that it is. Now, if you combine those things, that's even better. New treats, new toys, new places, new experiences. Change up the routine, move around the furniture or their bed if it makes sense, of course. Um, uh, Carve out extra time for more attention, more affection. These are the things that they really do need, and they appreciate it. They appreciate when we, I mean, they can't express it the way we can, but we can see it in them when we show up with treats that are new. I know that my cats are fully into their treats, and so are my dogs. Treats are a big part of our lives, both for cats and dogs around here. Um, and uh, Getting new treats, changing things a little bit here and there, um, just putting in that extra effort to show them that you love them, giving them extra kisses and loves and hugs and yeah, all the things. Okay. Let's see. Okay, Liana says, yes, I do live with him, but he's my in-law's dog. Right. Okay. That's what I wasn't sure about. If you saw him every day, if you lived with him, I knew that he was your in-law's dogs. Okay. Or dog. Laura says, all of this resonates. There's been so much with my dogs during my ascension process that I have no idea how to simplify or summarize it here. Well, we did talk about it earlier. If you wanted to come and join me live to talk about it, we can do that. But only if you want to. Only if you want to share some of your experiences, Laura, or really anybody else. If anybody would like to come on and share anything about your animals, what you've noticed, I can answer some questions for you. I could do this probably for like until about 8 o'clock, a little after 8 o'clock. If anybody wants to join in, ask me some questions specifically about your animals or just share your experiences, you could totally join me. I'll put the link here for people to come in and join me. Ask whatever questions you might want to ask me. Let me know if you want to join me. Again, no pressure. If you want to, great. If you don't, great. That's fine. You're not, there's no pressure here to join me. Only if you want to, only if you feel like, yeah, I'd love to share this experience or what I've been, what's been happening. Laura, um, your thing with your animals has been absolutely fascinating. Laura works with me in an Evolve Now program, and she's been in all the things that I do, all the groups, all the initiate, all the things. Her animals have also been shifting in consciousness in a very specific way, and I do monthly healing sessions with all three of them, and the information, the stuff that's come through about them has just been really, really fascinating and interesting, and how they've responded to working with me, to Laura working with me, and all of these things. So yeah, it's pretty fascinating. She says the new treat thing is real. Talk about a small thing that gets them going. I know. I can definitely come on if you want. Oh, okay, cool. Okay, so and if anybody else wants to, let me copy the link. Okay, okay, copy link. Oh, oh, I'm just seeing the message that you sent right now. Yep, I'm sending you the message in our Google chat. You should have that now, Laura. Okay, shouldn't take her too long to get on here, and hopefully her connection. We were on Riverside the other day for our truth activation or truth initiation. She kept getting bounced for some reason. Hopefully that doesn't happen today. We'll have a little conversation about Stanley and Georgia, her Aussie poodles, or I'm pretty sure that, yeah, Aussie poos, Australian Shepherd poodles that are absolutely adorable. Um, and her two, she has a boy, well, obviously the boy is Stanley. He's the older one. She had him, I think, for around a year before she got Georgia. And they're both very different. And the things that came through about them for her and how they interact with her and work with her and heal her and do all sorts of things with her to help with her evolution is quite fascinating, and how they respond to when she does initiations or activations or spirit walks, or, well, we do healings when she gets a now, and for the last several months we do a monthly rainbow light for her, and it's all three of them at the same time. Which one wants to paint? That would be Georgia. We have to ask her if they've done the painting thing yet, because that came through in the last, or the one before. Time flies so much. I'm trying to keep track, or remember exactly, but that would be Georgia, because Georgia was fussing at Laura while she was painting. And Laura thought, oh, she doesn't like it when I'm painting. She gets really annoyed when I'm painting. And the actuality was that Georgia, can I email it to you? Sure. That in actuality, Georgia was actually kind of jealous that, I think I can. Why can't I click the right thing? She was actually jealous that Laura was painting and she wasn't. She said, I want to paint too. She really wants to be human. She has this thing about her. So it's very, very cute. Um okay, I just emailed it. Oops, that's not where I want to go. Okay, here, I want to be back here. Okay, I just emailed it. Yeah, so animals definitely, not only do they reincarnate as different animals. They can come back. I feel like it's different for different animal souls and like what they want to be, but there's also like angelics can incarnate as animals. Any if you're any divine soul that's meant to be like, that is like of angelic origin, can incarnate as whatever we want. Actually, I know I've been different animals. Some, they kind of do the animal thing. Some do both. Some do more, human or that type of incarnate more than an animal. I've known more. I've known a few people that they were not typical human incarnates. They normally do the animal thing, but they've incarnated as a human. They tend to have, they're different. And then you can have them that like I have a cat that this is her first incarnation as a cat, for sure. So they can switch it up. There's really no rules there. It really just depends on what's going on and how they're needed, and there's really no. Hi.
Hey, okay. I don't know. I was trying to get on I'm on my phone. Where's my little stand? Oh crap. Okay, hold on 1 second. Let me get. I was trying to do it on my computer, and I'm a 90-year-old. I don't know what's happening. Let me. I'm switching to my
Okay.
phone. Okay. Ooh. Uh-oh.
I think this should work.
Okay. Well, now no dog is here. Ah. Georgia,
Oh,
get
that's
over here.
okay.
Come say hi. Earlier, I told Stanley that we might come on, and I swear that dog understood. He kept putting his paw on me. I said, "It's your responsibility to come and show yourself if we're talking about you." And he kept putting his paw, like, "I'll come," and now he's Georgia.
Georgia
See,
and
Georgia.
Stanley. Okay,
All
so
right,
tell
anyway,
me
never
what
mind.
has been going on with them most recently? You said that they've kind of flip-flopped.
Yeah, Georgia is. Well, it started last week. I told you she got how I was off work and it was a lazy week, and she cuddled, and she's the most mellow cuddle bug now. I'm like, I don't know where my wild child went. It's really funny. All she wants to do is cuddle, but not in a needy way. She's just, and she'll sit next to me, and she's using her paws a lot like a human. She'll sit and just like put her paw on me. She wants to hold my hand. It's odd. I mean, I feel like they've always acted human, but now I'm like, this is like I have a human toddler. It's almost like she progressed even from a toddler. She's like school age now or something. I don't know. It's bizarre. And Stanley is like this playful little. He's sassy. He's running all over, like being like just being playful. Like even like biting me. I mean, he's just. They switched. I don't know. It's
And this was since since the rainbow light, or since the initiation on Saturday?
since Saturday. About
Okay.
that's what I think. That's when. Oh, here she comes. Come on, girl. Come say hi. You know you love being on camera. This thing.
Georgia.
Here she is. Come see. Hi. Come on, Moppet.
Hi, sweet baby.
Well, we were sitting in here, and then I was like, oh, we can go meet Stanley in the living room because we weren't on camera. And so she got mad at me because, she likes to have me to herself when we do these.
Mm.
And so, and then she gets in her meditative state. And so I think that's what happened. She's
Oh,
really
she
like,
got bothered.
she's a little bit goofy
She
right
got
now.
she got displaced. Hi, Georgia.
Here,
Yeah.
see,
So,
look, come on, show.
hi, sweet baby.
It's different. They don't like my phone. Like they like the computer. They hate my phone. She might not even look at it. It's
Oh,
weird.
that's right. That's yeah.
I
That's
know. I was
really
trying to do it on the
interesting.
computer, but it
That's
wasn't
really
working.
interesting how they're like that.
Yeah. Look how
Um,
look away. She won't look at it. Come on.
it's
Okay.
okay. Um, but yeah, it was really interesting. I mean, we've been working together for over 2 years now, right around 2 years now, and the dogs have been there the whole time. But especially over the last couple of few months, there's been real shifts in them,
Yeah.
in their awareness and their consciousness. Like I think it was about 4 months ago when it became, especially with her, when and what not only that her consciousness and her awareness, that you noticed her like looking at things that
Yeah.
weren't there,
What
right?
was that? That was around a big event that I don't know. There's been too many. It was maybe the end of last fall. Was it in what? Maybe the 11th.
I
I
think
don't
it was
remember.
after our initial blueprint work, and um I'm pretty sure that was it. And then I think we also had a rainbow light. I think there was like something like that. We'd have to go back and see. But
Yeah,
anyway,
because I remember you going. Well, Stanley. Well, hell, Stanley was born awake. You're like, why are you like Stanley? Because it was like it's not pronounced in Stanley, and you were like, let's be real, he was born awake. I'm like, well,
yeah,
yeah, true, true,
yeah.
but she wasn't.
Right. And not only that, not only was she kind of like, she literally, for anybody who's gone through spiritual awakening, who's been like, oh, wow, what's going on? I'm perceiving different things, and I'm thinking different things, and I'm understanding different things, and I'm paying attention to different things, and I'm processing in a different way. That's what this dog was doing,
I mean,
basically.
it was like that. Like she would jump. I mean, I was like kind of freaked out. Like, what is happening? She looked from her shoulder and she was like, "What? What?" I mean, it was like she was hallucinating. all the time, and it
Right.
was freaking. And remember, I noticed Stanley being. I just didn't put it to get. Now I'm better. This was when it kind of first ramped up, and I was like, now I know kind of what I can pick what's going on. I still have to email or text you and like, oh, what's this? But then I was just like, what is happening? And he was being sweet to her, like
Right.
giving him her Nora. The gosh, there's so much. I mean, there's so much background story and all this. But his favorite little toy that soothes him, we'll just call it that,
Yeah.
he was giving her to Georgia. And I was like, what? Because he's possessive of that. And he was an extra, like, sweet to her. Not that he's
Yeah, that's what I
mean,
was gonna
but
say. He understood that
yeah.
she was changing and that she was a little scared, a little freaked out, a little like, what is happening to reality from whatever her dog understanding of that is. And she's hyper psychic too. And
Mhm.
so it was like she's like one of the gosh, from a while back, one of the things that came through, oh, I think it was the very first rainbow light that I ever did with her. What came through about from her point of view was that you, Laura, could do more to with your psychic reception and what back and forth, that they like stop trying to communicate with your mouth and like a human and by
Yeah.
talking, but understand more psychically, because that's how animals communicate, is psychically.
Oh, yeah. She
and
put me in my place in that
and
one.
she
Yeah.
said you could do better. She was like, you could do better. You're not, you're defaulting to your,
Well, she
gun
said,
human.
I aggravate, I know I annoy her, but she could really do better. Also about not
Yes.
getting annoyed. Yeah, she put me in my place on several things.
Yes, it was really funny. And and it just was really interesting because both of them have very different ways of communicating with you, processing with you, and all the things. And this was before they things really started shifting. Then when they
Yeah. This last
shifted,
summer. Yeah.
yeah. Then when
Yeah.
they shifted over these last just like 6 months, more 4 to 6 months, I'd say more like four, whatever. Where are we right now? We're
I don't
almost
even know.
in May. Good Lord. Wow, that's wild. So I would say over the last, especially 4 months, maybe probably this whole year, since we crossed into 2026, there's definitely been another shift with them, but in a very similar way with my dogs too. It's like all of a sudden, like I noticed it with Cora specifically, like he does more of the energy thing and he's more reactive and he's more needy and he's more affectionate, but he's smart, he's very intelligent, but his like consciousness and awareness is not anywhere near Cora's. She's always been like that. But now it's like she is just like the way that you put it, like, oh, we had like toddler type awareness or consciousness. And now we're talking about like, a 7, 8 year old or something like that. Like there's a whole other thing going on there. And if you know children, there's a big difference between a 2 year old and a 7 year old as far as everything goes, basically. And the same thing happens consciously with our animals as well. And it's been really fascinating to see, from my point of view, your experience and then your experience with your animals and their individual experiences with consciousness and then their experiences with each other. And then like what came through, I think in our last rainbow light, was this triangle, this pyramid of the three of you, and how this works between this energy works between the three of you. And that is a very, very real thing that for you to be aware of. So when you're like you said, now you can see it, now so what would you tell people about this when it comes to observing your animals, especially if you're not working with me, if you're doing your own thing, just I guess, like, what do you think is um
I know the biggest, I can say that one of the biggest helpful things, I mean, I get, is the crystal. Like when you told me about the selenite and amethyst, I still like, if I had to pick one thing that like, I feel like
Mm.
changed
Okay.
that with Georgia because she was so like wacky. I mean, she was so anxious when she, and I guess maybe I didn't
Very
even know. I'm
mental.
trying to
Remember,
think when
that
that
was
was.
super mental. This dog, Georgia, the one we just saw, she's a thinker. She
Yeah.
is constantly. So if you have a dog like that, they're very, very mentally heavy. Um, they tend to get more anxious, get more stressed. They're very, they're just because they're processing everything.
Yeah, I
Um,
could see it like in, I mean, I was just like, I didn't know how to handle it. And when you told me the selenite and amethyst, and of course, the dog's always loved my crystals, which I didn't, I know she's been with me in past lives, and she's scared of fire, which I think is very interesting too. She's terrified of fire. I'm like, oh Lord, what did we go through way back when? It's funny. My brain goes there, and I'm like, I hate that it goes there, but she won't go near it. Like, but I was from the start. I get a crystal, and she has to lick. She has to. Like, will pull me with her paws, like practically pull them out of my hands. She's always loved them. When I would do oracle, like my oracle decks, crystal, like she has to be there. I mean, she just loves it, and she always has. And so the selenite amethyst, when you told me to rub her with it, I mean, I've got pictures where she's like, oh wait, you missed the spot. Like she lays there and she lifts her arms up and she's like, get me. And I used to have to ask her, you need your selenite? And she'd get excited. Well, it got to the point that she would paw, and I started knowing what, like she would get irritated if I didn't know what she wanted. That was at that point where she's like, you need to try harder.
mhm.
But she got to the point she'd ask for it. And so now I don't want to say like her thoughts pop up. I just automatically like know what she wants. But she started asking for it. It took me a little minute, but then now I just know when
Okay,
she
so
wants
just
it.
to be clear for everybody, what Laura is talking
Oh, I didn't.
about,
Sorry, I didn't explain what I'm. You
yeah,
can
what
do
Laura
it
is
better. You do
talking
it better.
about is a selenite. You use a wand, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so a
Yes.
selenite wand, and what kind of amethyst do you usually use? Is it a
I
geode?
bought. I found a piece that's like a. It's a square. It's almost like a cone. Like the one side, it's flat on one side. Yeah, a little tiny little. Not a geode, but it's almost cone. Like it's got little bricks so that I brush her with it. It's almost
Right.
like
It's a
I can go
piece
I
of
can go get it. If you want to
it's like a piece of
show.
a geode, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I suggest for everybody who has animals. It helps clear their field and return negative energy to. So first you would do the selenite, do the wand, get it right on their body, all over their, just go over their body with the selenite. And then after you do that, take the amethyst and
Oh,
actually,
sorry.
let me get a couple. I should have brought them
We should do a demonstration, huh?
here.
You love
This would be the kind of amethyst that I would suggest. This is a piece of amethyst geode that you can easily
it. Yeah,
hold.
mine's really similar to that.
Yeah. And it has the spikes of a geode, and you can brush your cat or your dog with, or your horse or your pig with this geode, and it helps transmute negative to positive. And let me real quick get the I've been
It
here
works. Huh.
rearranging
You love it?
my crystals, so I'm kind of like, where is my stuff? Okay, I'm not sure where my selenite wand is. I thought I just saw it. Okay. Is yours handy?
It is. I can grab it real quick.
Okay, if yours is handy, because I've been.
Hold
Oh,
on. No, stay right there.
what the hell, where it is? Because I've been doing so much stuff with my crystals and moving things around, and I had two. One disappeared. I don't know what happened to it. And then, hi Georgia, she's so cute. I swear I could do just a session with Georgia in front of the camera. We don't really need Laura.
I know. Here's the
Yeah, so
selenite.
hold it up to the oh, okay, there you go. Oh,
Yes.
that's different than I have one, it's a little bit longer, it's like that long and it's round and it has like a carving and it has a point on it.
Oh, like a real one. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
No, I
really
don't have like
cool.
one. This is my amethyst
That
is
works.
like
That
it's
works
smaller
though.
than yours.
Yeah, I mean, it can be a stick like that or the big round. It's like they're pretty thick. They're about that thick and they're about that
Oh,
long.
look at her. Can you see her lifting up her little arm?
Mhm.
You like
Yeah, you can do it right now. Show everybody.
you want me to
She
rub? You love it.
and
I'm
she
not making
loves
fun of you.
it. Most animals do like when I do it with with my cats or my dogs, they love it. And you can also I suggest
He
getting
likes it.
amethyst points. You can see this beautiful amethyst point and just tucking it in where when they're sleeping or napping, someplace that it's not gonna get hurt if they it's not gonna be uncomfortable for them. But what you'll find when your animal gets up after a nap is that this or your amethyst gets really, really hot, very warm. And that warmth is the negative energy that it is has soaked in and is transmuting. So all you got to do to clear it is run it under cool water for about a minute to 2 minutes. It'll transmute that energy out that it's trapped within it, and then you can use it again. It's like magic. There's nothing else to it. I used to have a cat that was extra. He was extra sensitive. And after him and his lady had babies, and there were 6 kittens that were constant, it was just, and he was a very involved daddy. I could tell what he would just get overloaded energetically and kind of grouchy, and just like what happens to people, like you get overloaded by a bunch of bouncing children like pulling on you, you'll get grouchy, especially if you're extra energetically sensitive like this cat was. And so this was gosh, over 10 years ago when I started really waking up and understanding this stuff and getting my first crystals. And I was guided to my very first big amethyst. It's very similar to this, but it's more raw than this point. It wasn't like a official point anyway. It's somewhere over there. I was just noticing it the other day. But what I do is tuck it in with him when he was napping. He would go to sleep one cat and wake up a different cat, like back to normal, sweetheart, lovey dovey kitty. He was one of the best cats ever. And he would just be chill, just like wake up, just like Mr. Zen Master. The kids get jumping all over him, and he's just like in bliss. And that amethyst, you would think it was just on fire. It was so hot from everything it just fascinating. So I very much suggest if you have animals, get selenite, do the selenite thing that helps to dispel and disperse and clear negative energy. And it's all very superficial. Anything that you're going to do on the surface with crystals, it's more the energy, the newer energy, like within the last week, 2 weeks, because things then start to sink in. So the more often that you do this with your animals, the clearer their field will be, so it doesn't sink in. And remember, they're taking on your shit as well. Their field is your field, and they're kind of designed to help filter you out. They're like your little healers without you really fully understanding everything that they're doing for you. So to help them help you, and for them to be around longer, consider working with crystals in this very basic way. It doesn't have to be complicated. Just once, twice a week, or every single night would be great to do a quick thing with the selenite, a quick thing with the amethyst. If you notice them being extra whatever. Stuff a couple amethysts in with them when they're napping, and you'll see a difference. And it does compound the effects of that. And if you have an animal or a dog like Georgia that really are into very aware of it, like the way it feels, they're sensitive to that energy, they're gonna practically ask for it like Georgia does. Is like,
She does.
hasn't she come up to you and been like, hey, like Crystal, me, you, let's do it, lady? Hasn't she done that before?
Oh, absolutely. Like she has pawed at me, and she's trying to think if it was maybe on the counter. She's done it when we're in the living room, but definitely I keep it in my room, and she has like been in the bed and she'll paw at me, and she's like trying to like look over me like at the nightstand. Like the first time she did it, I was like, no way. And I'm like, why no way? Of course, it's Elisa with these dogs. Yes, and so I learned that yes, she absolutely asks for it.
Yeah, that's on a whole other, yeah, because she likes it. When you talked about
Mhm.
how if you get a new crystal that she has to come and check it out and stuff like that, like that's how what baby would do. My one cat, she the one I was saying that has been grouchy these last few days, like she's been funny. She's like hasn't been wanting, like she's been wanting to stay in bed, not wanting to jump up and run outside. She's been wanting to be more alone. She's been more grouchy. But anyway, if I get a new crystal, she's like all up on it, wants to look at it, wants to touch it, practically wants to lick it. She wants
Oh,
to
she
put it
licks.
on
She
her.
absolutely
She's like fully
does.
expecting it. I'm like, I want to see it the way you see it. Because she's
Right?
like, I take it out of the box. She's like, whoa. And it's like, what do you
Oh,
see
she
there?
gets so excited. It's like, I mean, she's practically vibrating. I mean, she's like, she's so excited. Like sometimes I'm like, she's knocked them out of my hands before. I'm like, calm down. If you make me break something, I just got, because she's like, give it to me, give it to me. I must, and
Wow.
I'll put it down, and she has to like, oh, she
That's
loves
a
them, and she
good
can
thing.
tell. She can tell when it's a crystal. I'm telling you. She gets, I mean, she gets
Oh,
excited
I
about every
believe it.
package because she's hoping it's food. But I'm telling you, it's different. She knows when it's a crystal. And she's like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, which one is, I mean, and I feel like she's practically vibrating.
Yeah.
She's,
Yeah, she's really into it. Yeah, it's a definitely a thing with her. Now Stanley, he's not like, well, he's very different when it comes to energy. He's not nearly as, he's
he's,
way more zen. He's super
mm,
chill. He's not super mental. He's way more heart spaced and spiritual.
he's
And
angelic.
yeah,
I have to say, when I got this at 8 weeks old, I immediately, like, I remember thinking, and this was 5 years ago. I didn't wasn't into any of, like, I was not anywhere near this. I thought, huh, do angels? No way. Would an angel ever come to Earth as a dog? I was like, surely they don't do that. I thought that would be like beneath. I really, not that I mean, I don't think dogs are beneath, but I didn't get what angel, I grew up in the Catholic, angels are these like, and I was like, I don't think they do. But I was like, holy, if they do, this dog isn't. I mean, and it's funny. I think my soul recognized what he was, and even I was like, he's something magical and different. And I really thought, I was like, I have this gift. Like I was like, I don't know what I'm meant to do with him, but I have to share him. Like it was weird. I felt this like need. Like I can't keep this dog to myself. And this was at 8 weeks, and he was maybe 3 months when I spent a week in my parents' house. And my dad looked at me after like a day and said, what the is this? This is not a dog. And I was like, I told you that. I was like, you didn't believe me. And he said, I didn't. He was like, I don't know what this is. He's like, it's creepy, but like a good creepy. He's like, this is weird. He's like, this is not a dog inside of this. And I said, I know, Dad. I don't know what he is. I was like, I told you. Like and everyone who meets him, um, is just like you can see it. They're just it's almost confusing, I think, to some people. And I'm like, it's okay. You feel like he's different and magical. Like you're not weird. Because it's like he not disturbs people, but I'm telling you, he's so magical.
yeah, he's
It's
not, he is a different, he definitely is angelic. He is part of her angelic team. They do incarnate. Some prefer to be animals, prefer to work with people on that level, and not to incarnate as a human like some of us do. It's just a whole other thing than incarnating as an animal and working with or being part of a person's life. It's just a totally different assignment. And like I said before, some angelics prefer that and do that more often. And also as wild animals, they do we they can do that as well and work from that level as well. Um, so oh, I was like really confused about what I was saying over there. So yeah, Stanley is really very different. Like these two dogs, like when I tap in with her and when I tap in with him, it's just like such different worlds. They're so different, but was so interesting a couple months ago, like when we talked about like her consciousness becoming more online and then him being aware of her do because I think he just kind of thought like she is what she is. And from whatever his perception is, like, let me just be clear, as a dog, he's not actually conscious that he's an angelic as a dog, because that would make him, I mean, he's already a dog that's angelic. You see, so he needs to still be dog, just like any angelic that incarnates. We're humans first, even though that's our blueprint. It's like that's his blueprint, but he is a dog. So he perceives as a dog. But even as a dog, from that point of view, his awareness of people and animals is different than regular dogs. And his perception of her and what he thought of her and the way she is, he kind of thought it was set. And then he saw her change, and that in turn made him rethink his perception as a dog. And what witnessing all of that is just
that was a weird time in our house. I was like, what is happening? SOS, we need like some help here. I was like, life got weird. Yeah.
Fascinating.
Yeah, that was like our first, it was like almost like an emergency. Like I think we scheduled a session pretty immediate. I was like, something's happening. I don't know what's going on. This is
And I was like, well, it kind of was, because they were both like, they were like bouncing this off, and she was in the middle, like in the three of them, like I said, they're this triangle and it goes back and forth. And so it got very intense. And then, yeah, as soon as we went into that session, it was like, okay, here's what's going on. We've got Georgia completely like cracking open, and we've got Stanley witnessing Georgia cracking open, which is making him crack open more too. And you're cracking open more, and you're all cracking open more. It was just, yeah, pretty fascinating to watch that. And basically at the same time, I was noticing that with especially Cora and their and then just their interactions too. So they're a little, obviously your dogs are different from my dogs, but some similarities there as far as,
they definitely have some parallels. Like,
yeah, they have very interesting parallels, the way the way they are with us and the way they are with each other, and the different ways that they are is really interesting.
Oh, you know what else too? Be interesting. Like people remember her. She hasn't done it the past like 2 full moons, and I don't know if she'll do it this time because she's so mellow. But her weirdness with the full moons in the middle of the night, where I was like, "What is?" And I finally put it. I was like, "Wait, it's on a full moon," because I'm like, she's getting me up like 3 times in the night. She's not potty. She's just running around the yard like losing her mind, sniffing and just going crazy. And I was like, "You haven't even potty. Get your butt back in." Like I barely get 5 hours of sleep a night, and you're waking me up 3. Yeah, I was getting really frustrated until I think that came through in one of our sessions. I was like, oh shit, it is
Mhm.
on the full moon. I think, yeah, that the full moon was like
Yeah.
making
The full
her
moon, that's definitely something to be aware of. That was the other thing. Thank you for bringing that up. That was the other thing I meant to talk about tonight, because we're almost on the full moon here in just 2 days. I'll be live again for the full moon, but specifically full moons, just like it affects us more, the polarity, the illumination, the light that comes through greatly affect us, greatly affect animals. And that's something to truly note about them. I just kind of like, I kind of suit up for the, like how are the, what kind of extra are we going to have with myself and with the animals when it comes to the full moon and each other? Because they're, it's like they're each isolated experiences bouncing off of each other and us. And definitely at the full moon, that becomes way more. And I think this full moon is going to be a, a an extra when it comes to what's going on, because it's the Scorpio full moon. It's very deep energies, it's very psychic energies, and this one is all about truth. We've had this whole theme of truth going on and all the energies of it, and the next big truth gate slash extra activation is this Scorpio full moon, very, very specifically. And that's why this is kind of like not an emergency live, but more of an urgent live that Gaia was like, we're coming up on the full moon. This really needs to be discussed, because it's just kind of like more of the wallpaper is peeling off. And when it comes to our animals, just how sensitive they are, how extra things are for them, and how we need to not stress or internalize or externalize things in different ways, or jump the gun, take them to the vet, start putting them on anti-anxiety medication, or changing their diets, or whatever. That's not going to help, like I said, unless they're won't eat, won't drink, vomiting or diarrhea, and it's more than just a little bit here and there, because that's also normal. But if it's like they're truly sick, okay, fine. I think it would be better if you schedule a session with me first, but do you? But it's better just to understand that their whole thing is shifting as well, and they're more sensitive, and the extras that you're seeing them experience isn't something to be upset or afraid about or get stressed or anxious about or throw a bunch of money at and start tweaking things. If anything, you want to add, like I said earlier, add toys, add treats, add new experiences, take them in the car, go to a different park, go visit, their animal friends if they have them, or have people over, kind of change it up so they can kind of, um, the way that Gaia is just kind of saying, kind of like to kind of shift, and in a certain way, you would think that adding more might be the opposite of what they need. But when it comes to animals, a shift in direction loosens the load. If you've ever worked with animals, animals, if they're hyper focused or hyper upset or extra about one thing, and you add some, you change it. Same thing with children. You change their direction completely and get them focused on a totally different thing than where they've been anxious about. That relieves tension, and then it changes their demeanor and behavior and energy. So that's why the advice is, first recognize what's going on, see it for what it is. It is a shift in consciousness, a shift in energy, a shift in sensitivity, and it comes in waves. But at the same time, the wave is going to continue to go upwards, and it's just gonna it's not always steady and the same. But what Gaia has told me to do to help my animals is I've completely moved around all of the furniture in the cat room. I went in there and did a deep cleaning. I got totally new lickable treats, and I am doing a whole new thing with them. Like, so I've changed what, like, because things kind of reached a head of energy and there was just too much going on. So I needed to pull things apart and rearrange so they would be more comfortable and shift their direction, and really, um yeah, just, yeah, change it up. Maybe it's a little different for cats, for sure. For dogs, it's different toys, new different balls, taking them someplace different, or really, really giving them more energy in a different, more focused way, that's going to help them. Um, and if they need you more, if they're more whatever, just um, do your best to meet them where they are and acknowledge what's going on, and try to take, any irritation or frustration out of it as much as you can. I know sometimes their extra can be frustrating for us if we're being real. um and that's okay too, uh because it is what it is. You can love something and still be irritated like hell by it, even if it's our dogs. It's
Tell her
quite
that
all
all the time.
right. And
Yeah.
sometimes the extra can be too much for us as well, where we're like, just because you're going through it and you're extra doesn't mean I need to be at your beck and call about everything too. There needs to be boundaries. So there needs to be this, like, happy medium in there as well. Cater to them, but have the boundaries. Shut the door sometimes. Let them, kind of have some separation as well. That's okay. Doesn't mean to, like, drop everything, fully focus on your animals, and not do anything else, and just lay around and pet them and talk to them all day long. You can't do it. You have other shit to do. It's not actually good for them either. They need to be autonomous to a certain degree. But if those moments where things are spiking, if the back of your mind is like, oh, this is, where is the full moon, how are, what's going on? Not to say that this can happen at other times of the month as well. It just tends to peak during full moon times for animals specifically. People are a little differently. I've had clients that have it get a lot more sensitive and psychic and energetically bothered for new moons, but for most people it's full moons. And animals kind of across the board tend to have that. I worked in the veterinary field for a long time, and we just all knew when the full moon was, because almost every single full moon it would be more going on in the hospital, because
Oh,
it was
people
the full moon.
hospitals too.
Right.
People, yeah, they go
It,
nuts.
yeah, it's a thing. Like, if you're in any kind of healthcare, you, in most offices, most hospitals are aware when they'll add more staff. They'll change. They'll literally change it. Like, when's the full moon? Okay, we're gonna have 3 doctors instead of 2. We're gonna have 4 techs instead of 3. We're gonna have 5 receptionists instead of whatever. We're gonna, because it's the full moon. We know that
Labor and delivery goes nuts. That's a real
yeah,
thing.
yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah.
that's yeah.
Yeah, it's not
Weird
just
shit.
coincidence. It's 100% real. So, like I said, we're coming up. We're literally almost, like, I think tomorrow will be officially in full moon zone, even though the official full moon, yeah, it's already saying full moon today. The full moon isn't even really officially till Friday. So, for a couple days before and a couple days after, or 3 or 4 days, even like the week that surrounds a full moon can be extra depending on it, and for us, for our animals, and all that good stuff. So, something to definitely be aware of. And I don't want to miss this. She sent this a while ago. Ileana says, I just love learning all of this. It's so fascinating. Your dogs are precious, Laura.
Oh, thanks.
They
They're
really
pretty.
are. They absolutely are. So, do you have anything else to add, my love?
Oh, well, one little thing, always it's a dad, but you clean when you said acknowledge. I know not all dogs are like this one, but acknowledging, I know she's very mental. It definitely, I notice a difference when I can like say, okay, I know that was one thing. I forget. You told me to do that a long time ago, and sometimes when I remember, I'm like, okay, come here. Let me, acknowledge what you feel. It helps a lot with her. Like I can see the appreciation, and she'll even paw me. She's like, it really does help. And I don't know if it's just because she's so mental, if that would be with every dog, but when you just said like acknowledge what's going on with them, it makes a difference with her for sure. And Stanley
Yeah.
too, but Stanley's a
Mhm.
whole different animal. Stanley's
Yeah.
like teaching me, like this one looks to me more like I thought I look to Stanley sometimes for guidance. Not really, but it feels
That's
that
so
way.
funny. Well, he's
But
very stabilizing.
yeah,
Um, yeah, for sure. Like if they're extra anxious, especially if they're extra reactive, if they're extra needy, if you really just kind of yes, acknowledge that they're feeling that way. I know like with Chacha when he's just kind of like, it's like I just okay, babe, I know it's very, he's just you can see he just kind of goes
yeah.
like he's
Yeah,
just like
yeah. They understand so much English though. Like I know not all dogs, but like these, I mean, I just speak to like they understand. So I know she knows what I'm saying, and she wants to hear me say it. Like sometimes I think she
yeah.
wants me to know. She wants to know that I know what's going on with her, and then and she's like, okay, doesn't fix it, but it helps. It takes
Mhm.
it down a notch for sure.
Yeah, it definitely does. It's incredible how that it's like what I'm talking about with my grouchy baby when I kind of poke fun at her and go, "You're grouchy, you're the," because they just aside from like being able to read it on her face, just everything about her is just kind of like spicy and just like if you could see the like crackles coming off of her, and sometimes literally she's the
Crackle.
only cat that I will touch, and we have sparks coming off when I touch her because she's got so much, going on. I shit you not.
And
But when I,
Stanley will shock me all the time. And
mm,
remember that time that I came home when I was like, I can't get near him? I was like, what's going on? We discovered he's so sensitive. Like, he's right now, when I wipe their beards after 8 tonight, he was like, I was like, oh, I'm sorry. Like, I have to be sometimes I have to barely do it. And I'm like, oh shit, it's a full moon. Like, it, like, he feels it way more and he crackles. Like, he shocks
mhm,
me all the time.
mhm.
Uh,
Yeah, it's a thing. And so just kind of that acknowledgement that just going at them in a certain and very specific way of acknowledging that they're um the currents of energy that are going through them is turned up a few notches and they're just extra raw, extra sensitive, extra emotional, extra anxious, extra needy and really just yeah, just giving them it doesn't take much for them to just I think because from their point of view, no matter how intelligent, aware, or conscious they are, they're not human. They don't process
yeah.
like us. And they look to us to reassure them that it's okay and that, what I see you, you're fine. I'm giving you love. I'm giving you extras. And like I said, same thing too with, the food thing. If it just, it's really interesting over the last several weeks how I've noticed my cats go from needing a few weeks ago, like they needed so much. Like I was doing a whole extra can of food for the cats because they were all eating more. And then I kept doing that. And over the last week, I'm like, half of this food is still sitting here. So I'm back down to less food because now they're all eating less. Where a couple weeks ago, they were all eating more. And just, just different things like that. Uh, and yeah, just kind of giving them more love in certain ways. And just so you know, cats very specifically see treats and food as love. That's one of the ways that how like some people's love language is gift giving. Well, for cats, very specifically, they perceive love. So if you have cats and you're loving on them and then all of a sudden they'll break away and go eat even a few bites, they equate loving, affectionate, and food. So if you give treats, lickable treats, like what I call kitty crack, which is temptations, like those little square temptation treats that cats go freaking nuts over, in whatever variety that they are, but especially like the lickable treats, those are my favorite, cats' favorites. They're not cheap, but they're worth it. Plus, it gives them more moisture. Um, those extras of whatever, and for dogs it's a little different. They need variety and protein. They like treats. I highly recommend just very pure meaty treats, whether it's chicken, turkey, beef, fish, that it's very pure, very less, much less processed and more pure meat. And because you might notice that they're more hungry, they require more protein, because of all the energy stuff. So if they seem more hungry, if they're acting like whatever, they go to the treat drawer or point at the treat box or whatever you got going on for food and treats and stuff. Adjust accordingly. Over the last couple months, I've been guided to change it up for my dogs. Um, yeah, that wasn't my idea. I was just, it came through. Their main diet forever has been Honest Kitchen dehydrated dog food. You mix it with water. Laura does the same thing with, we, we never, she did her thing, I did mine, but same thing. Um, and and then like maybe 4-ish months ago, I was guided to, um they also sell just a base mix that you can mix with your own protein. But what I was guided to do is mix that base mix with the stuff that I already get in their chicken, their whole grain chicken flavor recipe. So I mix the two, and the base mix is more veggies and more seed. And that's what GAIA told me that would help with their cognition, with their perception. They still needed the protein, but to change it up and to give them that more seed and more veggie base. So I mixed the two. And then I was guided to, um wet canned food. Uh Target has a really good, not crazy expensive 16-ounce can. It's called Kindful. And yeah, yeah, it's a really good wet food. It's a little less than $2 per can. I usually split the can between the two of them. Um, and they've always had a grain free pure, it's called Pure Balance. Walmart sells it, but it's a really good food, grain free, bunch of like none of the stuff that you don't want kind of thing. They've always had that kind of kibble that they can go to, because my dogs are like not the type of dogs that would overeat and just eat and eat and eat. Like they'll let food sit there forever if they don't, that's just my dogs. So they can have food whenever they want it. So I've been guided over the last couple months to shift the way I feed my dogs, and that came through directly to me. So if you've noticed that your dogs are a little less excited about food, it may be time to incorporate some different things. Dogs and cats, they both get bored of the same. If you've been feeding them the same thing week in, week out for month after month, year after year, they do get a little bored, especially now with their whole thing changing. So mixing it up a bit, or adding in new treats, like I said, would help a lot, to help with all of all of that that's going on. Um, and hi, speaking of which, got Chacha over here telling me what time it is. Oh, and he got skunked last night, so he.
Oh no.
Yeah. Yeah, it sucks. Yeah, it sucked. You're a stinky boy. Yeah. But anyway, I think that is for the most part, most of what, or all of which I had on the agenda to talk about. Yeah. So crystals, food, treats, extra awareness, affection, acknowledgement with your animals. And of course, you can always schedule a session with me. I suggest rainbow lights for your animals at least at the very, very minimum, twice a year, if not more, especially if you're doing more, if you're more active energetically and spiritually, especially if you're processing a lot of energy, they are too. And just to help them not take on so much of your stuff, to help their health and maintain them, to do energy work. So that would be the rainbow light energy healing and communication with me.
I recommend that too.
What'd you say?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I was like, I recommend that too.
Oh, thank
Wonders
you.
for my dogs. I mean, Stanley meditated after his first one. Hello.
Yeah, you did. Um,
It works wonders for them.
yeah, it clears their energy, it aligns their chakras. We get information, we get communication, we get questions answered, we get directives and advice for what to do with them specifically. Everything that I've talked about today is very general, with examples of Laura's dogs and my dogs, things that we've heard you guys share. But yeah, for a very unique and specific experience with your animals, both cats, dogs, birds, whatever. I do them all. Um, yeah. So visit my website if you're interested in our offerings. The animal healing is there. And of course for yourself too, if you're so guided. Yeah, and I think that's it. Thank you so much, Laura and Georgia, for joining us tonight.
Stanley Peaks, but he wouldn't come. Thanks for having us. This is like, I love talking about this. I mean, I didn't know this was possible. I didn't know dogs that existed like them, and certainly did not know that this all could happen. So it's been fascinating, and you have literally, I don't know what I would do without like your help with them. Like, I understand them and communicate with them so much better because of all the stuff we do with you. Like, yeah.
Yeah, I know you have.
I mean, in the beginning, like, yeah. I mean, just night and day. When I think back to when we first started doing the rainbow, like God, I was not gonna say I was an idiot, but like, gosh, bumbling stuff. Like, yes, you've helped me a ton with them, and helped them. But,
yeah, no, definitely. It's been. I mean, you're already very intuitive, very loving, very dedicated, very committed to your animals, but it definitely took it to a whole new level when, like I said, when we can lift up the hood and look inside and get answers and put things together and make it easier for you to have a relationship with your animals because you know what's going on with them. We're working on their energy. Their things aren't getting deep. Their things are being acknowledged in close proximity. I have these sessions with them about every month or so, and over the last several months, and that's definitely been a game changer for
need it. This household is definitely calm. Yes, this household is very different. Yes.
Yeah, you need it because you work with the public, you work in the job that you do in hospitals with people and surgeries and all the stuff that you do, high stress, high intensity. You do this very active ascension. You're this nucleus with your dogs. They are what they are. And so that deeper regimented healing on top of everything else is definitely recommended if you can, or as often as you can. I also take payments, so if you're interested, anybody, in working with me, just reach out. Okay. With that said, thank you so much for being here, everybody. I appreciate you. Have a wonderful rest of your night. And I will be back, like I said, on Friday, 6 o'clock for our full moon. And we'll get into more about full moon stuff on Friday. All right. Thank you, Laura. I love you. Thank you.
Bye. Bye. Good night.